What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld, and right now we're going to be talking about how much would it cost for a 90 overall team at the launch of Madden 23 Day 1. Now, I want you guys to remember a couple things. If you're no money spent, I'm going to be having videos specifically for you throughout the year as far as the grinding and what the new things are, so don't feel as if I'm forgetting you guys. I started off, when I first started Madden Ultimate Team, as a no money spent player, but as EA Sports realized that there's so much more money into it by, putting out more things that you have to spend on and better overalls, it became a money-making thing to where everybody at the launch of the game, if you don't have specific players or you don't have certain strategy cards and stuff like that, it's more likely you're not going to be able to be competitive. Because just remember, all the speed and all the attributes, that's when it really matters at launch, when all the players are not as good. You know what I'm saying? So just remember that before we go ahead and get into it. All right? Now, this is what you're going to have to understand. 90 overall is going to be very, very hard to be attainable just naturally, like generically, because there won't just be like so many 90 overall cards. So that way you could just make a 90 overall team like that. Sort of like this, right? You see like how there's a lot of golden tickets available now because we're at the end of Madden 22. At the launch of the game, there's going to be, far and few between the 90 overall players. So how you're going to be able to do that is through chemistries. Now, the chemistries and the boost that you get from the theme teams, just keep this in mind. You're not going after a full theme team at the launch of the game because there is no way you're going to have 50 valuable players that are going to make sense for you to have on both sides of the ball. And what's going to happen to you is what happened to me earlier in this year, last year. In 1.5 months into the game, I chose to be an idiot, and I went Niners theme team completely 50 of 50. And I also went on like a 15-game losing streak. Changed it up, and it got my record back to where, it is right now. I'll show you guys where I am right now. Like I said, I play maybe like 5 to 6 games a day. Early, in the year when the game is out, that's when I'm readily, playing it. So I play a decent amount of head-to-head, especially for the fact that I go the route of going after the ultimate champion or whatever they're going to call the master, whatever it is. So it's better if you play online head-to-head. So that's my record right there with my Super Bowls and all that stuff. And, a lot of those losses because, I just chose to do stupid things. Like, all right, let me go ahead and do this, even though I know at the launch of the game, there aren't a lot of players that are available for just one team. So 90 overall team, that was a specific question asked by one of the members, okay? This is what it's supposed to be. Everybody needs to understand a few things, right? This is where we are and how we're going to be able to go ahead and get things done. You're going to have to spend money day one. It is no way that you can be a no money spent grinder, okay, and get 90 overall. There's no way. It just doesn't make any sense. So people need to understand that if you're going to try to be no money spent day one, you're going to lose a lot of games. Why is that? Because obviously you're going to have to grind to get the better players that we're going to talk about right now. So look, I'm going to give you guys an assessment of what actually happens in the launch of the game, right? We're going to go to the elite section. This is all you have to do, guys, to kind of evaluate what's going to be going on. When you go to core elite, right? These are the players. The quality stops, I think, at like, 88, I believe it is. I don't think anybody was higher than an 88. Let me just check as far as elite goes. Okay, so nothing was there. So at the launch of this game, the highest overall players that were elites were about 88, 89. I guess maybe 88. So was Patrick Mahomes. A lot of you guys spent 500,000 coins on this card at launch. A lot of you guys did. So that's pretty much what it is. Everybody else that, chose to wait it out, his price did go down a little bit as the year went on, but it was something to where everybody knew what was going on. Okay, they're like, yo, Patrick Mahomes, he's a high overall. They'll spend the money. He wasn't good, though, at launch. So his price fluctuated. A lot of people spent money. They didn't spend money. And then, other players, we chose to go with other players, maybe legends and stuff like that at the launch. So just think about it like this, right? Say you get a couple of these players and a few legends on both sides of the ball. You're going to have to spend money. I don't know if you guys remember Derrick Henry. Oh my goodness, bro. It was really, really wild. Jalen Ramsey. I had like 5 of this dude. It was really, really wild. But look, at launch, because of the chemistries and the strat cards, you can boost this guy to a 90. And that's why I want to address, the way you're going to get a 90 overall team. Obviously, you're going to need to be either very, very lucky with the packs that you get, or you're gonna have to, you know, like I said, you're gonna have to spend a couple, you know, I gave you guys the video about the amount of money, the minor level, like, you know, minimum 100, middle was like 250, and then 500 was like max, the like, you know, beginning level tiers. People are gonna be spending a lot more money, because remember, you might laugh at that 85 speed, but when you power him up and he went to an 86, and then you had strat cards that made him an 88, his numbers made him good. So he was able to do a lot of different things. So the boost from the strategy cards and all the other things that go into, you know, making your team boost to a 90, it's going to cost you a lot of money if you're not getting lucky. All right. So look, these were the top tier guys. Now look, let's go over to like some of the see. It's going to be harder for the legends because the way that it was set up. Let me go over here. They should just have a regular legends and they have ultimate legends, I believe. So where are they? There you go. All right, so now when we look at the legends, right, I think the highest with them, they were about 90s or something like that at the launch. So it was sort of like, all right, you know, do you want to go with some of these cards that they're releasing as the promo starts? Because when the game is released, they're going to have legends available. In order to properly format your team, there goes a guy that they overlooked very heavily, Kevin Green. He should have got a lot more upgrades this year. Brian Dawkins, a lot. Well, it depends. I know a lot of you guys, you know, have the players that you wanted to get the upgrades, but with the way that the game is set up, you know, Leroy Selman, a lot of these cards that were coming out, you're going to need a few of them to be able to get to 90 overall. So that's why I'm saying, if it turns out that your player does not get a legend, it's not the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? You can still use some of the elites, just the base level elites. Also, you're going to be able to have some currency if you guys did all the rookie premieres, and you're going to get some currency from that by getting the collectibles. If EA ever gives us, you know, obviously our 15 token for those of you guys that have done it. Still no word on it. I don't know what they're doing. You know, but cards like this card was a damn beast. The Mike Haynes, stuff like that with the Raiders, an absolute beast. Warren Sapp, a lot of these cards are really, really good. So when you look at the fact that a lot of these cards are going to be available, right? But lower level, you have to be able to understand. You're going to pick and choose which ones you need. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just going to look at it like, all right, you know what? This is what we're looking at doing. We got to figure out, like, what's the best case scenario? Do we spend the money for a legend that's already a 90 and stuff like that? Remember, these legends are going for like 600, 500K, 700. You know, launch game prices. It's going to be wild. And the reason that I say that it's going to be expensive is because more than likely, it'll be easier for you to get bundles as opposed to paying the enormous prices once the game is launched. So I still think that you can attain it with like $500 with my max level tier. Some of you guys are going to go above and beyond that. I read one of the comments. Dudes said, look, I already put $1,000 to the side. That's what a lot of players do, because just by default, you're going to play a lot of people that don't understand MUT. They're going to see your top 3 cards and quit the game because of how high of an overall you have to start. So at the launch, this card is very, very valuable, and he's worth a lot. And everybody needs to understand that as we get closer, you know, to, you know, the launch of the game. So I would just say, look, right now I'm still banking on and holding fast to the, you know, like the $500 mark. I think we can attain it. The next thing we're going to talk about is the strategy cards that are absolutely back in Madden, and that's going to cost you also. We don't know how they're going to let us get it, but getting that +2 speed offensively and defensively is going to be very, very important. So we have to wait to see how that works as well. But this is going to run your pockets. This right here is going to run your pockets. So we'll talk about that later as we get closer to launch. But I'm still going to stick around that $500, $500 range. Let me know what your price ranges are. But I know for a fact I can create a $500 team that'll be a 90 overall, and I'll do it for you guys at the launch, day 1. I'm going to see you guys and girls next time. You enjoy your day. One love, y'all.